Good morning. I am shooting this video to kind of redo the video I did last week talking about how to plan a season. New webcam, so I was figuring out the graphics on it and it kind of turned out poor quality, a little bit hard to see. So we're going to jump into season planning. First thing I want to do is talk a little bit more about block training. All right, so what we're doing this season is block training. Like I said in the last video, for high school season, we did USRPT, which is ultra short race pace training. You can look up that on YouTube and find more info about that. Worked really well, especially with COVID and sprinting. But this season, we are doing block training. So you can see here are the heart rates. Basically, block training breaks it down into 5 zones. Some in college, we did colors. It was essentially the same thing though. But here's a brief overview of that. I'm not going to get into it a ton right now, but there's 5 zones and what basically the kids should be feeling, what their heart rate should be, how long you can maintain that. But what you do then is break up the season, starting out zone 1, building up your aerobic base. Zone 2, you add that in and start, that's still kind of aerobics, but it's a little bit tougher. Then after some time of training, you add zone 3, which is like, that hurts. That's the hardest sets, the hardest zone to maintain. And then after some time of that, you add zone 4, which is all out sprints. We're actually getting into that this week. And then zone 5 is the hypoxic sprints, which are super short bursts, all out sprints that you do trying to maximize your oxygen. All right, so you can see here, this is a breakdown of our entire season. We're basing this out 21 weeks. So weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, that was all zone 1 and 2. Really aerobic base, building the blocks of our season. Week 5, we started doing some zone 3. Again, that's heart rate about 180. That's a really hard sets. We introduced that, so we were doing that once a week. And we kept that style of working out through week 8 and then week 9. We're at right now week 9, so we introduced zone 4. So this Wednesday will be our first true zone 4 set. I think we're going to do 2 200s all out off the blocks on 10 minutes and then 4 100s all out off the blocks on 6 minutes. So that's a zone 4 set. They can cool down if they want after those. Then you can see we have a drop taper into our senior champs meet, which is our state meet. Week 11 is spring break, so I plan on bringing them way up in yardage. We'll maintain doing zone 4 once a week. We'll do zone 3 once or twice a week, and then the rest of the workouts will be a lot of aerobic. But we are hitting a lot of yardage, so it's going to be a lot of swimming for the kids. We have a national meet down St. Pete. We'll go to that, drop taper into it. It's not a huge focus. It's just an opportunity for the kids to go swim prelims, then hopefully make it back some finals. Week 13, we come down a little bit just to give them some recovery off of their spring break still, but then we jump up into our peak weeks for the season. They're back in school, so they're doing 7,000 yards in about 2.5 hours after they get out of school. It'll be pretty tough. 2 weeks of a recovery, so their body has to have time to not be broken down. Then we do a week 18, super smooth, 6,000-ish each day. Might do a few short zone 5 sprints here and there. Might do a zone 4 set. We'll just see how they're feeling, but it's mostly just to start relaxing and getting ready for taper. Then week 19, 20, taper. We have a meet here at the end of week 20, and then we're going to do a second taper meet the following weekend in case any of the kids miss their taper meet. All right, so here's kind of how, that's the overview of everything. Here's how I break it down to day to day. We started this season on January 4th. I go up here and put in how much yardage we actually completed throughout the workout. There's some weeks missing, but it was around 3,000 yards each of these days, around 3,200. As we move into the season, get into more zone 3, I start taking some more notes. You can see here our first zone 3 set was 4 100s on 130. This is the first true zone 3 set. So I took their average times and recorded those. The next week we did 6 100 zone 3. Again, heart rate 180 is what we're shooting for on those. I put in any notes on RAD, how the kids are swimming. Recovery day, they were hurting. Dryland has been less springy. I could tell, we do an hour of dryland before practice 4 days a week, and when they're just not into it, I'm having a hard time motivating and keeping them going. It's time for recovery day. Weather notes I'll put in here. Berkeley meet was a little short rest these 2 days into the meet. We swam pretty darn well overall. All right, but then I put in, basically I drop in all the plan to show what we're doing. 6,200 is what I have planned for the week, 7,000, 7,000. Here's our peak weeks. This is where we introduce our zone 5, which would be like 8:15 meters, all out sprint, no breath on a minute 15. So lots of recovery, but we're trying to use the oxygen in the system as our fuel source. And we head on down into May. Hopefully we'll get one boy to qualify for Olympic trials at one of these long course meets here. We'll pretty much jump right in June. I think their school's out here, so they're going to have finals coming up. So these 2 weeks after our end of the season will be probably more fun and games and technique and that sort of thing. Not as much attendance requirements because a lot of the kids are going to be studying, which is fine. It's so good for them to have that mental break. And then that'll set us up into our summer season where we plan on training probably 6 hours a day, and hopefully we'll have one going to Olympic trials, but we'll go at the end of the summer at AAU in Texas this year and should do well. All right, thanks for watching.